Do you want a new way with salmon? Here's what's coming up today. This is salmon with teriyaki sauce. Hello everyone, I'm Judy Jackson and today I'm telling you how to make teriyaki salmon. Teriyaki is a Japanese term and it's a recipe that's been done maybe since the 17th century and is extremely popular all over the world. What I'm going to show you is first how to make a small jar of teriyaki sauce, and you'll be able to use this for this dish and many other things as well. When you've done that, and it'll take no more than 10 minutes, you can get on with the salmon. When you buy a packed salmon, it often says cook for 10 to 12 minutes. This is fine if you like well-cooked salmon, but I prefer it flaky and soft and really tender. To go with it are some peppers, fried or roasted, and some fried or roasted onions. Here it comes. First, I'm going to make the teriyaki sauce, and this is what you need. Soya sauce, wine vinegar or rice wine vinegar, brown sugar, garlic, ginger, and a tiny bit of corn flour. To cook 2 thick fillets of salmon, you need a little more ginger, olive oil, and then, to serve with it, noodles, peppers, and a shallot or an onion. In a bowl, I'm putting half a cup of soy sauce. Then, 1/4 cup of dark brown muscovado sugar. This is really the best. And to that, I'm adding a clove of garlic, which I'm crushing, squeezing out every last bit. Here's a piece of peeled ginger root. I keep it in the freezer so it's ready to be grated from frozen, which makes it so much easier. You need about a tablespoon, which is a piece about 1 inch long, 2.5 centimeters. Now I'm putting a tablespoon of corn flour mixed with a tablespoon of cold water, and that I'm going to add to the soya mix. This is what's going to thicken the sauce. 2 more things. 1 tablespoon of rice wine vinegar if you have it, otherwise ordinary wine vinegar will do. Stir that in and then add up to about 350 mils of cold water. I've added the whole lot, which makes it a fairly thin sauce, but if you want, you can use half the amount and it'll be quite a thicker sauce. I've poured the mixture from the bowl into a small saucepan and I'm heating it up gently until it comes to the boil. This will take at least 4 to 5 minutes. You need to stir it occasionally. If you're using half the water I suggested, 175 mils instead of 350 mils, it'll be ready sooner than mine was. It took at least 10 minutes until it was reasonably thick, but don't forget it does get thicker when it cools. Here is a jar and it's ready for it to be poured in when it's cooled. For the fish, it's best to use salmon fillets with the skin on. This is much better in the pan, which I've added already a little bit of oil and I'm heating it up, ready to begin frying it. Before I start to cook the salmon, I'm cutting up some orange and yellow peppers into thin strips. I've already taken out the membranes and the seeds. Heat the oil until it's very hot, and then when you've got some of the strips ready, you can put them into the pan. See, again, I'm taking out the white bits. So drop sliced peppers into the saucepan and it'll just fry on a hot heat for about 3 to 4 minutes. While that's doing, you can also slice up some onion. I'm using a shallot here, which has a slightly more gentle and sweet flavour. You can add the onion with the peppers, or if you prefer, you can cook them separately. Turn down the heat a little bit and continue cooking until they are a little bit brown on the sides and not quite so crisp. From a pack of 6 fine egg noodles, I've taken out one of them and I'm putting them into a saucepan of boiling water with no salt. Just break them up and then leave them for about 4 minutes until they are just cooked. Just before I add the drained noodles, I want to show you another way with the peppers. Instead of frying them, you can roast them in the oven. Here they are, yellow and orange peppers, roasted with a tiny bit of oil for 20 minutes. And in this case, the skin just peels off beautifully. You don't need to peel the skin if the peppers are in strips, but like this, they just taste much nicer. You can also see that I've added a little bit of the grated ginger onto the salmon before I begin to fry it. Cook the salmon skin side down in some oil for about 1 minute on each side, and then briefly turn it over onto each of the other sides and pour on a good amount of the teriyaki sauce. By this time, the salmon will be just done and you can begin to plate everything up. You can see here that I'm putting the noodles in between the peppers and the onions, pouring over a little of the sauce over the noodles, and then I'm going to put the salmon fillets on the top. When you've done that, you can pour all the rest from the pan over the salmon to give it the wonderful glossy finish. It will be slightly pink in the middle, but I hope you'll agree this is probably the best salmon you've tasted for a long time.